Alright everyone, so here is one of my videos that I've put together from our clinic adventure. You'll see me just kind of walking him around when we first get off the trailer, and then I put his saddle on and we go for another little walk around, have some grass, make sure he's ready for our riding portion. So here you'll see us starting one of our courses. Sinead is awesome at giving us a lot of different courses to do. The group that I was in, we were doing ground poles and cavalettis at most. So I was opting to stay in the trot for a lot of these. But right here you'll see he kind of offers to canter to this cavaletti. And so I allow it because I want him to feel confident. And then I get him back to a trot, and I actually had a nicer trot after he offered that canter. So I stuck to the trot for the rest of this exercise, and he was really good. He was really thinking about his feet and our rhythm. Sometimes he gets a little bit stuck in the trot and gets kind of like very up-down rather than going forward, but the canter is still a little bit weak for him. So knowing when to push that has been a big challenge for me. Sinead was really awesome and supportive for us to kind of figure out when to add the canter, which you'll see as we progress through the exercises here. We continue on to do some flat poles on the ground right here, and he did really super awesome with the 4 bounce poles on a curve and kept his trot rhythm really nice. Finally relaxed his head and neck down and lifted his back right here, which was really, really nice to feel. So here is another exercise. We were doing a figure 8 through 3 of the elements, and I decided that I would add canter on the longer stretches of this one. So we start with a single cavaletti, and then we go over 3 ground poles, one of which was partially elevated. It's a little tricky to see because the air was a little bit muggy and foggy this day, but we did not leave it up. But that's okay. We got through it, and that's what matters the most. He didn't let that affect his trot rhythm. So ask for the canter. He gets the wrong lead, but I just kind of let it slide because I just wanted to get the canter. And then I came back to the trot and then down to the walk, because as you can see, these 4 bounce poles are now partially elevated on the outside of the curve. So I'm just encouraging him to look for the lowest point and keep going. And he did really, really well reading that. Then I picked up my canter again, and we continue on with the figure 8 portion of the exercise. So here we go. I really like our rhythm to this. We got a really nice distance there. I kind of opted to go a little bit wide to get straightness to the edge of the ring, to get my down transition before I come back over the trot poles one more time to go back to the cavaletti again in the middle. And here we are cantering to the cavaletti. I really liked how he offered the lead change there over the cavaletti from the left to the right. I don't know why I broke to a trot so soon. I must have felt like something was off balance. I don't quite remember, but you can see he relaxes his neck to the poles, which was great. I do remember right here being like, should I trot these or should I walk these? And I just waited too long to make a final decision. So I just kind of softened everything and we sort of walked/trotted through them. Then we got a little bit of a funky canter afterwards, but probably just a little anticipation on his end. Sinead told me to just keep going right at this point. Keep working through the 4 bounce poles here. And so I break to a trot again, and we trot over them this time. We figure it out pretty well. So then I think this one, she says, if he feels really good, go ahead and just let him keep cantering through those bounce poles. So I kind of organized in my trot here for a moment because I didn't want there to be a lot of anticipation and tension. And then when I send him into the canter, it was a much smoother transition. You can see he kind of relaxed the base of his neck, and we got a nice transition up into that canter. I'm guiding him into it and encouraging him to canter through it. He tried to leave, but then figured out the best way through was to keep going right. We knocked down the last couple of poles, So she said, just keep cantering around in a nice big circle. Just let him kind of cruise along, get a little confidence. We found that once we got more confidence in the canter, everything got a little bit better and smoother. He became more forward off my leg and a lot more willing to think about what his legs were doing. That is something that I have struggled with because he is weak behind in the canter and I never want to make him sore. So trying to figure out the right amount to push him and when to add elements like this bounce exercise. So this was a really fun exercise to work through. And here you can see she's left the first two up and dropped the last two to the ground, and we got our way through it really, really well. Super proud of him. Nice relaxed trot strides here, hanging out in the middle at the end, talking and recapping, and then grazing with his mom afterwards.